Hello, Telvani here, and today I wanted to talk about defenses, and more specifically, armor, determination, and physical damage reduction. Back in patch 3.16, GGG released sweeping balance changes that affected character defenses. They removed attack dodge, introduced spell suppression, and buffed the effectiveness of both evasion and armor. And while it was certainly an adjustment period, I think we can all agree defenses for the majority of players are the best they have ever been. I, for one, wouldn't want to return to a world where damage is my primary layer of defense, dodge my second, and portals my third. Spell suppression and armor are incredibly powerful tools, which increase player survivability and prevent an overwhelming amount of one-shots. However, this is where we fall into a little bit of a problem. If we take a look at our skill tree, we can see three sectors. The top middle here lends itself well to energy shield builds. The bottom right excels at evasion, and the bottom left was meant for armor. Now, if we take a look on PoE Ninja, we can see that a little over a fourth of the top players are running discipline. This is pretty balanced. As we saw, about a third of the tree should be investing in energy shield. Next, let's take a look at grace. As you can see, 34% of players are using grace. This is incredibly spot on, as again, about a third of the tree should theoretically be investing in evasion. Now comes determination. As it turns out, determination is the number one skill used in Path of Exile, with 77% of all the top players using it in their build. Obviously, this is not balanced, but the problem here is that unlike energy shield or evasion, armor is absolutely essential to preventing one-shots from physical-based attacks and slams. It is basically as mandatory to get around 70% physical damage reduction as it is getting capped elemental resistances. Perhaps in the very early days of PoE, when the game was much slower paced, there was far less screen clutter, and all we had were the story acts, foregoing physical mitigation would be okay, as you could simply play well, and manually dodge a lot of these large physical attacks. However, this is simply not the case anymore, and I'm pretty sure the entire player base would riot if GGG locked us to the campaign only. So where does this leave us? Well, historically when something sees such high use, it ends up getting its efficacy reduced. However, I'm not sure that needs to be the case, as what it really boils down to right now is accessibility to physical damage mitigation. Outside of determination, the options just aren't there for the majority of builds. A really great solution would be buffing existing sources of physical damage reduction, and perhaps adding physical damage reduction as a suffix to all armor-based items, similar to spell suppression on evasion bases. If you could get 20% physical damage reduction as a suffix on your gloves, or 30% on your chest, the player's reliance on determination would be extremely lessened. Let's use Purity of Elements as an example. Right now, only 21% of the top players on PoE Ninja are using that aura, and honestly, most of them are probably using it for ailment avoidance. But if a tier 1 elemental resistance roll was only 2 to 3% on small armor pieces, and 5 to 8% on chests, I'm sure basically every player in the game would be running Purity of Elements. Another possible solution to lowering player reliance on determination would be access to some physical damage reduction nodes on the tree. Perhaps they could even have their own masteries, similar to spell suppression. This would give us another viable avenue for physical damage reduction outside of armor stacking, and, by extension, determination. One source of physical damage reduction that currently exists is endurance charges. However, endurance charges are temporary. For example, they also grant elemental resistances, but you would never use endurance charges to cap your elemental resistances outside of some very niche cases like Hierophant, where you have permanent uptime on them. So hopefully in the future, GGG will give us more universal options for physical damage mitigation in the form of skill points and gear affixes, as this would give players more avenues for defenses outside of determination. Anyway, thank you for watching, good luck with your league, and I'll see you in the next one.